Time. Meeting in airport, what is this, February 26th to order. We have a quorum with John on Zoom. So
Larry.
Good job.
we have a quorum, so we have Jim Ferrera, Larry Coop, Mark Beauregard, John, I never can pronounce your last name, John, but
Sanazaro.
no, that's it. And the town manager. So we have a quorum.
Okay.
Before we get started, any adjustments to the agenda that you're aware of?
None.
Review the minutes of the last meeting, which I have, so I take any feedback from the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from a meeting of November 27th.
I have a motion. I'll take a second, Jim. I have a second, Jim Ferrera. We accept the minutes as read. You okay with that, John?
Absolutely, accept them.
On the public to speak, sorry,
Did we go?
we did. Oh, I guess we didn't. No, because
No.
we all voted in favor of, so those in favor of accepting the minutes, there's only three of us and everybody said yes. Okay, I guess we did. We are officially voted. On public to speak for non-agenda items.
None.
Joe, you said you were gonna speak to us about the trees, which I don't see on the agenda.
I will take
You're
that
not
up
the public,
under number 8. I'll take that up.
okay?
I have no correspondence for you to read.
If
into that.
If none heard, I will move on to 6. Correspondence to be read into the record, if any.
I don't have any.
No correspondence. Reports of the commissioner. Literature from John S.
So John, this was several months ago now. John and I had a day trip to the airport. And he let me know, I think that he was either going or had just been to the Massachusetts
John,
Sarazano, member of Sarazano. Yep. He went and he had some information that he shared with me that I've emailed to you. I did not reproduce it in paper copy tonight, but I've emailed it to you. One was a pamphlet from the Massachusetts Airport Association or Massachusetts Airport Commission Association. The other was the cover of a book, which is copywritten, so I did not copy that, but I did copy the other item, share it with you by email. And I have, John, when I see you again, I have your originals to give you back in my office. So I just wanted to share that at John's request. And John, I'm sure.
and the purpose of the walk around or the ride around, John, was what?
I just wanted to see the status of the lights and the windsock and the airport overall. One of the things that some of the things I had written down were already addressed by Joe. And for instance, the markings of the runway I thought should be repainted. Let's see, I had a few other notes here. Just going from memory now. It was
Well,
yeah.
With that in mind, John,
Yes, sir.
it would probably be wise that this board meet at the airport one fall and spring to discuss those type of things to bring to the select.
I think that's a great idea.
Just a walk around meeting instead of go in the hangar, read the minutes and have a walk around. Spring and fall to see what people might have brought to the table, whether it's shrubbery that should or shouldn't be moved, the way they're mowing, the painting, the way they're plowing, whatever, maybe things like that would be the time to address them as a whole.
I think it's a great idea. We'll have to do that, of course, when the snow disappears. So this year, looking like we could probably actually do it in April, maybe. I know that there's a number of runway lights that are broken from their bases, and a few other things that need to be noted. Do you want to plan on doing that?
I think that's the comment. I think Buzz that's a spring day.
Maintenance issue.
That's a spring day for him, unless he's missing 5 in a row.
Yeah.
He changes them regularly. Now, painting is an annual budgeted dollar every 5 or 6 years, correct?
It's in the capital.
It'll be in the inspection report.
Okay.
MDOT.
I think painting has always been a 5-year thing or whatever.
There aren't many people around here in April, John.
No, I know it's mud season.
You
More like May.
probably need to wait till May or June.
Oh, speaking of April, did I mention to you about not to get off subject, but I should have done it in public to speak and get on the other side, but the Chamber of Commerce spoke to me about my hangar to open the door during the eclipse. Is that fine with everybody? Did I speak about that the last time I was here? In
Seems-
case, that I said, I don't know why, if it's gonna be cloudy or rainy, they're not gonna see the eclipse, but I didn't get an answer for that.
I don't think
there was no parking up at the parking was an issue.
Yeah, so
Maybe
there,
they changed their mind as to location,
so there has been no,
request to you,
application.
and maybe they were just searching for locations when they talked.
So there was a preliminary application that started the conversation, and then that application did not get resubmitted.
Okay, so then I'll forget I said it, so,
So as well, if we can jump off, as part of our emergency planning, which we are doing, we being the fire chief and others internally are thinking about the eclipse and what that might bring to town for people, we have decided that it makes sense to leave the airport off limits. So you can have planes coming and going, especially if you need emergency.
I didn't recommend that, I was just asked, so don't
Yeah.
shoot the messenger, I just.
No, I'm not, I just, you made me think of it, I just wanna
I was
clarify.
approached to use the facility, which I thought was stupid, because if it's a nice evening, they're not gonna need the facility. If it's a bad evening, there's no point in going there.
Yeah, it's at 3 or 4 in the
All
afternoon.
the action is up there.
They
But
can watch the
no
fan.
roof over your head.
There is 2 fans, they can watch those go through. Okay, sorry to interrupt. So why don't we work on a May and a September walk around, gentlemen, and put it on a future agenda, meeting date, calendar, when we're all here. Which I think it would be beneficial to all of us, because a lot of people don't get on that airport often.
That sounds great. So let's put that on the agenda for April, and we can set a May date.
May and September.
Yeah, so if we put it on the agenda for April, we can make a
That's
date.
okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, yes, correct.
That sounds great.
Good.
So the document that I had Joe copy and send out electronically was regarding the Massachusetts Association of Municipal Airports. I don't think Maine has anything like this. But I thought it was great to attend, and I paid some of my own money in order to attend it because they had this one day that was dedicated to airport commissioners. And it was actually very beneficial. And I had mentioned it, I know I mentioned it to Jim, and I think I might have mentioned something to you, Larry, about attending it. But I thought it was really good because what it did is it gave a lot of information about having your airport be recognized by the community as a gateway to your community. It had information regarding grants. It had environmental issues that other airports have come across, rules and regulations, terminology, making of emergency plans and things like that. And I had already spoken with the fire chief and Chief Bacon regarding maybe having a day where I'd be glad to talk to Chief Bacon and anyone else who's on the volunteers about airplanes and things that they're likely to come across. I realized we had something that he handled quite well only months ago. And I think a little bit of training would probably help him out there. So I want to talk to Chief Bacon about that in some more detail, probably sometime this summer. But anyway, it was a good meeting, and I'll let you know when the next one comes up. And maybe someone might want to come down to Massachusetts and sit in on it with me. I thought it was a really good thing.
Are you referencing that tail dragger that had this incident?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were referencing.
Yeah, Chief Bacon did a great job with that. I wasn't there in person, but everyone says it was handled very professionally.
Well, they do disassemble that immediately.
I'm sorry?
They disassembled that immediately. It was gone the next day. Somebody must have come up and took it apart.
Oh, they were on it pronto, absolutely. I mean, with regard to the way the airport was handled and how smoothly everything worked, it was done very well. And I think that maybe to talk about how things happened, how they handled it, and maybe have a written plan or something like that is one of the things that they were talking about at this meeting. So maybe to be continued on that. I don't think it would be a bad thing to have maybe a written plan in place.
Some type of a plan, but every incident is gonna have a different appearance.
Set of circumstances.
Whether it's off the grass, on the grass, in the snowbank. This one just happened to be right at the taxiway upside down, quite unique.
Yes,
If you had one at the end of the snowbank and you couldn't retrieve the airplane for 2 days, doesn't mean you shut the airport down indefinitely.
right.
I don't think, depends on the situation.
Yeah, well, definitely, any plan definitely needs flexibility in it. So, but I want to talk to the chief about that. I can do that outside of a meeting and
I heard from
see
one of
what
our
his
local,
thoughts are.
I heard from one of our local pilots that day, called twice, said, Larry, can I use the airport? I said, I can't tell you to use the airport. I'm not telling you to use the airport. I wouldn't, based on the fact that the fire chief has shut the airport down. If you have an incident up there, if there's some type of an accident, whether or not you have enough runway after that or not, he said, I can take off after the second actually go out to the north that way. I said, I still wouldn't. So he said, well, I
Right.
can get to Bethel. I said, well, you better get in your car.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
So I don't know, it's stupid how some people think they're gonna just go around the inside.
All right, we gotta keep moving. There's another meeting coming.
Oh, there is. Well, John, thank you for going to that. Let's talk about the next one.
All right, I'll let you know when it comes up.
Yeah, fine, thank you. Reports from the airport manager.
So I do wanna, you jogged my memory that there was a thank you from that pilot, to me, which I relayed to the fire chief. He did, say that he wanted to reach out, give Rangeley Fire and Rescue, as well as the operations folks, would be Earl and his people, a big thank you. An unfortunate situation caused a tail wheel steering spin that fell off on, a spring rather, that fell off on landing. So he did send a thank you to us. He thought it was handled very well, so. My report, so the DBE, which is Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, that was something that the Board of Selectmen, it's a policy that we're required to do by the FAA. Board of Selectmen has done a first and second reading. They've had an update that really had no substantial changes, so they are aware of an update. It's on our website. There's a third update coming. Part of what this DBE program requires is that the town and its consultants put out a message that any of these contractors who might like to do any of the work that's coming up in the next 2 years has a chance to meet with us and talk about the program, the DBE program. So that meeting, which is scheduled for March 5th at 2 p.m. It's a Microsoft Teams meeting. You're not required to be there, but that's a chance for those folks to get familiar with our program and ask any questions.
To answer that, back to that, Joe, is there going to be an airport meeting a month before any of these things let, so we can speak about what is going on? Or are we gonna be informed after that the job has been let and this is what we're doing?
I would think tonight, I'm gonna give you an update on what's gonna shift around on this, because there will be some shifts. There's enough money in the CIP that, you know, I don't think it's gonna require any town meeting action or anything like that.
Well, that's my point. So don't you think the airport committee should be the first to know before the selectmen that we're planning on doing it? And we bless it.
Yeah, you'll have an opportunity to go through it here tonight.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll talk about what's gonna
Yeah,
shift.
okay.
This is the same one you looked at. but
no, I know that, but you just said we're gonna move it around, that's what.
Right. I wanted to tell you about that. I wanted to tell you that in the draft budget, which is at the budget committee currently, the selectmen have not received the budget yet, they will Friday. Is the cameras that we talked about back on November 27th, so it's $3,000 is the quote I have to get some, you know, security cameras, kind of a ground level there, that you can see the parking lots. I think those are the high points. As far as updates go, oh, no, and the trees, you asked about the trees, so I do have, the town does have a written agreement with the property owner who owns abutting properties where the trees are located. We're able to work that out, we have a written agreement, have an arborist who's been there, looked at it with me, and the expectation is that he's going to do the work March 15th or 18th.
And
It's one of those days.
what about going forward as the trees keep growing?
So we have not yet gotten an easement. I wanted to get this taken care of and get it done without any problems, and then approach that conversation with the owner after this.
Are we gonna take top off, or are we gonna eliminate the tree in general?
So the plan is to stump cut.
Stump cut, okay,
These
so
handful
that-
of trees,
so
there's not
those-
a lot of them, there's 4 or 6 or something.
Okay, no, I'm just curious if we were gonna just watch the same tree grow higher.
No, we're gonna stump cut and we'll do a good job of that. So we have the arborist lined up for, it's either March 15th or 18th.
Good.
And then the question will remain about long-term easements. I have not approached that yet with the property
Could be years before you see it again.
Well, that's the thing, I kind of wanted to deal with what was right in front of us, and that took at least a year to get to this point, so. That's the update, that's what I have for updates.
And you wanna take the time to move this around, or is that another article?
Oh, no, we can, it's actually under number 9.
Okay, well, number 9 is next up.
So, that being said about the trees, I'm not we're gonna postpone the environmental, analysis and obstruction analysis, we're gonna postpone that, we may not even need that. If we get these trees cut, we may not need to worry about that right now. Airfield marking, which is the striping that John talked about, that's programmed for 24, which is this year that we're in. So, you know, this summer we're coming up to. So that's programmed in, that's gonna happen. 25 is repayment, so the repayments are contingent upon how their project is going over there. I guess they've run into some complications, which works out for us because we don't really have anything other than airfield marking lined up.
And they owe us 361 times 2.
I don't think it's times 2, I think it's 360,
Well, the other one is 661, so
I think it's 300,000, actually, that's.
it says. I guess maybe I'm misreading, repayment from Pittsfield, 661,000. Right in the center of the page.
361, no, I see, it's 150 and 150, it's 300 as I recall. broken
That's
in.
funds remaining, that's not what they're giving us. That's like a running tally of the funds.
Oh,
after these other
including the ones,
projects.
including the 160 we owe.
Yeah, that's what we got to work
Okay, that's just a little, I guess, confusing to read. Okay, so A1, you're gonna move the marking forward from 24 to 24. So that's staying in the same calendar.
Right, I mean, that's staying, yeah, it's staying in 24, that's the year we're in.
Yeah.
It's the airfield marking, so that's probably one of the most important things that's coming up, which is in the DOT inspection report. Repayments are there, but depending on where Pittsfield's at with their project, but we're not penalized. If it takes them a little bit longer, that's fine, they hang on to that money for us, and we get it. Design, reconstruct apron is still there in 25. Hanger calls have kind of slowed down. For a while there, people were calling left and right, and then I think what I heard was the price of concrete was scaring them,
And steel.
you know, so that's kind of slowed down. But for now, we can leave that there, that's out of here, unless you want to move it out.
Well, we're never talking about building a hangar, were we, or were we? The town?
The town, actually, hang on a second. Design, reconstruct apron is the cracked up section there, that is.
Yes, but you said hangar, we weren't talking about building $1 million hangar
No,
at this point.
I got ahead of myself
Okay.
there. I was thinking of extending that apron in front of near where your hangar is.
I mean, the only time you'd ever consider that if somebody came to you and wanted to be an FBO, then you might
Right,
look at your funds for that, but you'd have to have a long-term contract.
right. Here's easement acquisition, obstruction removal. Again, you know, if it turns out that we can pursue this long-term easement, that's where we would, you know.
So the only 2 things we have to worry about for the next 2 years are painting and possible reconstruction, finishing of the apron.
Right. But what I wanna do is you get down towards the bottom, so if you look at pavement maintenance, airfield, one of the things that fits into that category, as I understand it, is crack sealing, so that's one thing that I think we need to move up.
I thought crack sealing was a budgeted item on our 41,000 a year, not this.
I think we've done it that way in the past, but from what I understand, it qualifies for CIP.
Oh, it may.
I've asked that
Okay.
question recently, yeah, so
I thought it was out of our regular budget.
we've done it that way, like probably because it didn't time out right or wasn't enough
with.
quantity.
Do you wanna move it up to this year,
I wanna move it up to, I can't do it this year.
2025?
Yes, I'd like to put it in 25 if we can,
And then try to get AIP money to pay for it.
yes,
So you theoretically might get a better, bigger, more elaborate job.
possibly, yeah.
Could I ask if you get a price per ton or however they goes? Could
By
you
the foot.
talk to the hangar owners? Because maybe they would like to be part of it if it was, you could bill them directly, because it certainly would be cheaper than anything we could get.
If you got somebody already there.
If you got somebody on site with a 1,000-gallon drum, it changes
Yeah.
the price significantly. over one of those turkey burgers.
Yeah,
Oh,
right,
you know,
right.
Mark? Know what I mean, Mark?
Oh, yeah,
It's-
that'd be the time to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it also,
and if they do it for the same price,
but
they're,
it improves the whole
Yeah.
airfield, it improves
So
the
much
water
better.
drainage of the whole airfield.
So I guess that's the, the big change there is moving that up some, closer to us, like 25. is
And
what-
again, you may find that we do our April walk around, you may feel you wanna move it even quicker.
Well, we can't get any AIP funds changed for 24. 24 is locked in. They don't want
But
you to
there may be
change
some
funds.
dangerous places there, we have a lot of water coming in, you may wanna look at our local money for a little quick fix.
That's possible.
That's huge, letting water out of that airport. I'm sorry, not letting it in.
well, I'd make a motion to, move the pavement maintenance for the airfield from 2028 up to 2025, so that it qualifies for CIP.
Let's second that.
I have a request, a motion to move the AIP money for airport maintenance from 28 to 25. I have a second, I take a vote on that.
Right.
All in favor? All unanimous. So we move the AIP money, if Joe can work it out, from 28 to 25 to look at patching and repairing whatever is necessary.
Right, and each spring I meet with the DOT and so forth to go through this, so
It's a vote, you have permission.
I'll carry that mail and I'll let the board know what we're up to.
That's it for you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
All right, Joe, thank you. Any new business? Main DOT inspection report.
So that was emailed around, John referenced it earlier, the biggest, without reading it verbatim, we do have a variety of marker lights that are damaged, the parts are in. I've gone through and gotten the part numbers, got them ordered, they're in storage, the electrician has been notified that when he can get a break in there and see what's going on, get a break in the weather, then I'd like him to update those things. Some of them are kind of beyond normal, normal maintenance.
Did I see the light bulb up by the dump is out? On that obstacle.
Is it?
It was.
No, it's going.
Is it going okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a report of a wire that was moving around a little bit, but the electrician looked at it and said that was. Hey, Wendy. No, it's the airport commission.
Hi, Wendy.
As far as I know, that's working.
It wasn't last fall, and I wasn't too worried about it, but I thought I drove by in the dust, but it might not have been time.
Nope, it's on.
In the report, the windsock was noted, that's been replaced and repaired. The one we had on hand was the wrong size for some reason, so I had to order the right size. So that's up, sewer guys put that up right as soon as it came in, they took great care of that. Again, the lighting, there's a strobe, I think, on the 14 end that Wes has gotta get the circuit board replaced, we've got it. It's gotta have enough room to work with the snow to get in there and get it taken care of, so the
Was
lights.
the painting in there as well? The striping?
Yes, striping was, yes, that was on the DOT inspection report.
I was there on the 28th of January. I saw that the runway 14 strobes were in op. That's exactly what you just said, Joe. Plus, I made note of 2 runway and identifier lights that were also in op. I don't know if those have been tended to yet.
I haven't heard back from Wes on that, so I'm gonna probably say no, but I'll follow up with him on it. That was 32, you said?
That was 1-4. We were just speaking of 1-4, so I thought I'd underscore that yes, those strobes are in op and 2 runway and identifier lights in op. On the 3-2 side, the Pappy was in op on that date, and 1 runway and identifier light was in op.
I'll reach out to Wes. We've got the parts for those, just gotta get them put in there.
Tell them to come back to my house too while you're talking. All right, thank you for that. So, no announcements that we know of, other than we talked about the eclipse.
Right.
Next meeting date,
25th of March.
25th of March. That doesn't conflict with me right now. You? 25th of March, work for you, John?
Let me confirm, probably okay.
Looks, yeah, I don't see anything on mine. Things so 25th of March works.
Yes, works for me.
Okay, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So,
I have a motion, Mark,
Second.
second.
In favor.
Thank you, folks.
Good night.
Thank you, John.
John.
All right, so long.